On the Pioneer Vision Men's Lacrosse Report, and we're here with head coach Tom Mariano. And coach, we're 4 games in. You guys are 1-3, coming off one of the bigger upsets in college lacrosse this season. Tuesday night, you guys took down 15th ranked Yale, 13-12. But overall, this season 1-3. But if you're an outsider looking in, you see that record, you think, tough start. But you guys lost those first 3 games by a combined 5 goals. What was your team able to do in this stretch that you've liked that maybe people don't really know from the outside looking in?
Well, I think, it's been an effort to compete every day, compete in every second, and I think, we want to be in every ball game right to the end. And I think it's been that focus on the fundamentals, and we just kept telling the guys, listen, if we keep playing our style lacrosse, how we want to play, we're going to break through. We're going to get through in those games. And even Tuesday, we made it a little bit interesting, had a lead late, they scored a couple goals late. We've been on the other side of that, so I think we showed some poise when it counted.
And let's talk a little bit about that game. You guys fell behind 7-2 and really kind of, just stormed Yale, so to speak. You went on what was a 10-1 run into the fourth quarter, and led by Mike Malone, who's been huge for you this year. He had 5 goals in that win. Talk about that win and what it can do for you going forward. Because again, that's over. Now you move on. But what does that help you to do as a team as you kind of get into the schedule now?
Well, I think it just kind of, confirms to you that commitment to, doing one more play, to getting one more ground ball, doing the little things, one more shot, executing your slide packages. You go 3 games, you lose by 5 goals, so you're right there, and it was nice to finish a game off. And then our attitude is we got to focus on the next play. So right now the next play is Saturday.
And let's talk about your sophomore attacker, Mike Malone. He has 9 goals in his last 2 games. Talk about his game and what he's been able to do. He's been really that go-to scorer for you in the recent last 2 games against 2 Ivy League schools. So moving forward, what else can he bring? And some of his teammates, you've had a lot of balanced scoring this year.
Well, I think, with Michael, the one thing that I think people miss on Michael, you see the goals and he scores goals, but you got to watch him on ground balls. Even if he doesn't get it, he's relentless. He creates possessions for us by just scrapping and fighting for every ground ball. And I think he's the same way off ball, with the ball. He just keeps fighting the whole time. He kind of embodies our attitude. Like, he'll play great, he'll have a bad day, but he's always going to work. And I think that's what we want from all our players.
And 2 games ago, you had to go to a sophomore goalkeeper in Ryan Hughes, and he's really played well for you. 12 saves back-to-back games. So talk about what he's done and your defense as a whole.
Well, I think, one of our philosophies is, you got to be ready to play. You never know when the opportunity is going to come. And, we called Ryan late Thursday night and said, hey, you're the next guy in. He's like, okay, coach, I'll go in. And, we kind of preach and work and practice, be prepared. And he came out and showed he was ready. And I think, he's a guy. He gave us a little bit of spark. Came in, had 12 saves back-to-back, 2 games, got some confidence. Anytime you start somebody the first time, you're not quite sure. In practice what they can do, but I think he showed us. And then also I think the guys in front of him are starting to communicate, and each game we're getting a little bit better. Each game we're starting to improve and really gel.
All right, Coach, and finally, you got Manhattan coming here. It starts off with a stretch of 3 out of 4 at home, and this is a team you play every year. It's kind of a little bit of I guess you can call it a rivalry. What do they bring to the table? What can we expect to see here on Saturday? And then this next stretch here where you're going to be at home for a few. You got to like that, I guess, as a coach. I'm sure the players like it too.
Well, it's nice to sleep in your own bed and do the things you normally do. I think Manhattan's, they're very well coached. They're competitive. They're tough. And I think it's when we just talk to the guys at practice, you can't judge people by games because every game's different. Right now college lacrosse is about the teams that manage the game the best and the teams that show up and compete. So if you show up and you manage the game and you compete, you're going to have a chance to beat anyone.
All right, Coach. Well, again, Saturday, 1 o'clock here on Campus Field. Pioneers take on the Manhattan Jaspers.